Good evening and welcome to the March 24th, 2020 Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education meeting. I am Shay Woodbury, Board Chair, and I appreciate your attendance and also say good evening to our viewers on Cable 2. Will you please rise as we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for the invocation by Board Member Calvert Hayes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Let us pray. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss matters of interest to the community during this time of unsettlement. We pray that you will watch over our children, parents, and staff at our Winston-Salem Forsyth County school systems as we work through these difficult times. Help us make wise decisions together as a board. Amen.
Before we start with the order of business, I will still like to recognize March as Women's History Month, which was started as Women's History Week in actually 1980 by a presidential proclamation issued by President Jimmy Carter. In 1987, Congress passed a public law to establish Women's History Month. And of course, as always, I would like to recognize this great school board of women to recognize all of the really women, not only in our community, but throughout this country and world that make this world a better place. So happy Women's History Month, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and move to the agenda, but I think there's one more thing I need to definitely recognize by way of a message sent to me by the superintendent. So before we go to the actual agenda, is this the right time that you want to meet? Okay. On Saturday, March 14th, Governor Roy Cooper issued an executive order closing all schools in North Carolina for 2 weeks. In that moment, weeks of planning and work were turned into action as all employees of our district immediately began to refocus their work on how to support our students during this extraordinary pandemic and school closure. Since last week, our technology team has deployed more than 20,000 devices so every student can learn online. Our instructional and technology teams have rolled out lessons and curriculum, activities, and instructional materials for all grades. They have worked around the clock with teachers and school leaders to make sure there is meaningful content for students. Teachers and teachers' assistants have built videos and virtual lessons while spending time checking on individual students as they navigate this new normal. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools was one of the first districts in North Carolina to hand out devices and to begin e-learning. Our students did not go a single weekday without access to food. Our child nutrition department has served more than 47,000 free meals to students and worked with transportation to create delivery routes using nearly 20 yellow buses. Our principals and school leaders managed deployment of materials, personal items, learning tools, books, and more to make sure students had everything they needed during this time. Our social workers and psychologists are supporting our most fragile students, delivering supplies and other items necessary for them to be successful at home. Our maintenance and custodial teams have cleaned buildings over and over again. Our information hotline volunteers have taken calls and talked with thousands of parents. The questions they've received and the information shared has shaped our work. The past week has shown how simply remarkable our staff is. They have done everything possible to make sure our students are safe, healthy, and on the path to continued learning. As our district team works, our community partners like the Winston-Salem Ministers Conference, Love Out Loud, Imprints Care, Second Harvest Food Bank, and the YMCA, just to name a few, have joined us to fill in the gaps. Meals are being provided in the evening and on weekends. These groups are working tirelessly to support our families that most need help. Yesterday's executive order closing schools until mid-May is further proof that this situation continues to remain fluid. Changes and restrictions to our lives and the lives of students and families seem to come daily. While all this continues to evolve, I want you to know this board is committed to protecting and providing for our students. We would like to commend and say thank you to all our employees for living our core values and putting students first in every way during this unprecedented event. We also thank our community partners for all your work in making sure our students and the families of this community have what they need. The work we've witnessed in the last week is nothing short of amazing, and we are grateful to live in a place that isn't afraid to take action and work hard to support each and every one. Last but not least, we say thank you to our parents who have shown kindness and patience as we work through these uncharted waters. We know these are difficult and trying times, and we are all in this together. Thank you.
Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
this is Elizabeth. I can't go this minute without just raising up the extraordinary work of the superintendent and a core team that worked tirelessly for 3 weeks before any school closure announcements were made. They deserve so much credit for the extraordinary work they did in preparation. So I just needed to put that in. Thank you.
And thank you.
I think I was just, not to belabor this point, but one of the superintendents in the state, tried to put all of this in perspective by saying that, we're expected to turn around 385 years of how something have been done in a week by way of, public school. I think it's more like 285 years than 385, but at any rate, the point well made that we've been doing something so long, and now we have to adjust and start thinking about it differently. But I think that, thank God for educational professionals because, we're made to do this work. And I think that in this trying time, we can see how we can grow from it and make education that much better for all of our children, especially public school education.
Chair Woodbury?
Yes.
This is Board Member Barbara Burke. Can you hear me?
I can. Good evening.
I also want to echo what has been said and what I said when we met last Monday. We want to thank our superintendent, her team, and the teachers, all of the classified employees, everybody in the community who has band together and poured in their resources, their skills, their talents, and they have done an amazing job of keeping us together and moving forward during this critical time. So I just wanted to make sure that I again stated how grateful I am to everyone.
Thank you.
I think everybody feels such great relief in having our superintendent in place. A team, a lot of times, is only as good as their leader. And I will say again, we made a great choice in who we picked as our new superintendent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will move to the next item on the agenda, which is the agenda review. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I believe there was a request made to add an item so the board can discuss future board meetings.
Yes, you're right.
Are we adding that to discussion?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to amend the agenda to add a discussion item to consider utilizing technology to have our board meetings. Therefore, for the remainder of, I think, this COVID crisis, the school board will use technology to meet, meaning that, we'll use the conference call and web information to join into our meetings. Will that need to also be an action item? discussion and action.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Chair Woodbury.
Second?
Any question or discussion?
Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
could we, if you second a motion or speak, could you announce your name unless you're here in the site? So the person who's second, could you announce your name for the record?
Deanna Kaplan made the second.
Okay.
And that's with the with the addition?
Yes, with
Okay.
the amended
Okay.
agenda, with considering moving towards using technology for our board meetings, as long as we're in this COVID state, according to the governor. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Are we gonna do roll call?
Don't you have to take roll?
So we'll do a roll call. All in favor of the amended agenda? Please announce your, I'll call your name if you'll say yes or no. Chair Woodbury?
Here, yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes?
Aye.
Board Member Bramer? Would that be a yes? Board Member Bramer? Board Member Berg?
It is a yes for Board Member Burke.
Board Member Crawley?
Yes for Board Member Crowley.
Board Member Jones?
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan?
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger?
Yes.
And Board Member Parker?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did we,
Bramer's a yes.
okay.
I
Okay.
could not hear you.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. So we have, all yes. We can move forward.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public comments on agenda items. I don't have a list. Do you have? Okay, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is discussion items, and we have the one discussion item regarding how to move to I guess, all virtual board meeting.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Mhm.
Waiting for this to turn on. Okay, can everyone hear me? This is Dion Jenkins. And just briefly, there was a request by, I believe, Ms. Motzinger and some other board members who had expressed an interest in going to a 100% virtual format for board meetings that will be held for the remainder of the mandated school closure. And so as we know, we're mandated to be closed now through the 15th of May, and so that leaves the month of April and at least one meeting in May that, if you were approved this going forward, would be in a virtual format. And in doing so, I would work with our technology and communications team to ensure that we comply with all of the required elements of open meetings laws, which includes notice, as well as providing a mechanism for people to submit public comments either electronically or by some other means.
Those board members on the phone call, could you hear all of that?
Yes. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Elizabeth Motzinger, and thank you. My concern is, of course, we're an educational institution, and we should always be modeling the activities we're hoping our students and parents and teachers will engage in. And so at a time where we're really asked to stay home, I think the best message to our community, as well as protecting staff and board members, is to stay home until we're back in school.
Can I, so this is Board Member Jones. I'm hoping too that we could maybe use, I don't know, Dion, but if there was a way that we could use a platform or some technology that our teachers are using and our students are using now, I think that would also kind of be interesting for them to see that we're using some of that same technology as we're trying to conduct business for the district. So whether that's Zoom or some of the other platforms that they are using, I think that shows that we're, just trying to to model what they're having to use on a daily basis and learn. So it might be interesting if we could coordinate some of that as we're moving forward.
You want to speak to that, Kevin?
Okay.
Would you like to speak to that? I know we started our virtual interviews today.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Chair Woodbury, board members, and board members on the phone. We could do a variety of things. I would recommend we possibly could create a Microsoft team for the board. Everyone would be a member of that team, which has a video feature built in, a call-in feature built in, and we could, and that would model some of the things that our teachers are doing right now through Microsoft Teams. So we could work with Dion and Sam to set up a little training. We could do a test run before our next meeting, but everyone be a member of the team. There's a discussion board in there. We could launch a virtual online video chat at any point, and we could have a call-in feature as well. So it encompasses all the things that we're trying to do all in that one platform. So that would be my
That'd be
recommendation.
great.
And we can get together and work on that. Questions?
Thank you.
Well,
And I
while
love
you-
Microsoft Teams. That's a great
Yeah.
platform.
And I apologize for my operational attire. I was expecting to speak tonight. We've been very operational lately.
Oh, I was checking that jacket out. I really like it, so I know, yeah. But while you're here, I do want to ask about how we will engage with the community during our virtual meetings so that they could still have comments during our board meetings.
Great point. Through that same platform, you can live stream that as well, right through the same, from that platform as well. So we could provide a link through Cable 2, we can put that out on our website, we can stream it straight through Microsoft Teams. As the meeting's happening live, there's also a live watching stream that could happen for the public. We need to test all that and practice it, so we're smooth with it, but all those features are there.
So would that give our, the public an opportunity to engage publicly through that, or would it?
No, it
Totally
would
be-
not. We
okay.
would need to work on a way to maybe submit questions for the public to submit
Okay.
questions, that we could have a running log of those, and then you, as the board chair, could entertain those during the public comment section. We could have an online submission form for questions, that we could possibly handle it that way. I don't know that we could possibly have multiple people
Right.
from the community call into that meeting, but we could have a submit your question feature, and then you could read those aloud.
Or the comments, and then someone
Or submit
could,
your comments.
yeah, and then
submit
someone
comments.
could-
I mean, that's what I meant, actually, comments,
Yeah.
not questions.
Mhm.
Submit your comments that could be read back. We could even have those submitted ahead of time. We could have a period of time to submit comments a week prior to the meeting, and we could post those even possibly. There's a lot of options to get that information out.
And just to add to that, I believe the state board uses a similar format, and I think they have a special email address that they've set up for their meetings, so people can submit comments as well, so.
Once we build the agenda and it's posted for the public, we can start accepting comments on
Comments.
agenda items at that time, I would think, and we could post those to the public. We do that through the e-board, actually, because that would be public. There's options to post them out there for our e-board site.
So the one thing that I would ask the superintendent and staff to consider is the digital divide, that some of us, we just don't have access to even stream online to participate. So what does it look like for folk who just rely on coming in and saying what they need to say? How do we, continue to meet their needs? And that's something, again, that, the superintendent and staff can, try to resolve and let the board know how we plan to, meet the needs as much as we possibly can in this time to, all community members.
So while we're still streaming, we will continue to have it on Channel 2, but we could just have a call-in number for the community, just like we've had for the board members today. We would have a community call-in, which they could hear the meeting, and that's a very, in addition to the online, that's quite possible. That's not a
We
problem.
can support 160 simultaneous call-ins on
Right.
this line, and there's something we can maybe, so we've got some options for call-in and listen
Right.
only. We could do that as well.
And they can listen in and call in, and of course announce themselves if they're going to speak, and we can take a list of speakers 15 minutes before the board meeting, whatever we would do normally.
Absolutely possible.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask a question, Kevin, for the call-in? Instead of having our community members submit their comments ahead of time, since we have the ability for 160 simultaneously call in, can we queue them up and let the members of the community ask their questions in real time as they are used to when they're in person?
Yep. My initial reaction to that is we could have a sign-up sheet, a digital sign-up sheet of some sort, and then the board chair could recognize that person on the phone. They could give their comment at that point. I think there's a lot of options we can brainstorm and get this figured out. Absolutely.
The only reason I suggest that is because a lot of times the community members don't know, some of them in advance, what they're going to ask until they have heard some of the discussion and we've gone through agenda items. So thank you for giving that consideration.
I think our biggest concern would be a way to manage, 50-plus people possibly that may be on the line, and how to manage that without talking over each other, but I think we can figure it out.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for your expertise.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions or discussion in regards to virtual meetings for the board? Okay. The next item on our agenda is action items. The first item is to consider approval of the WFU BMC DOT physical examination and wellness contract. Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
I move that we approve it.
We're going to get this right, y'all.
The name of the board
Say your
member.
name. Everybody
name.
who moves to approve, say your name.
Singer, second.
To approve.
No, wait.
Wait a minute. First, we need to get a motion.
Crowley.
So Crowley made the motion and Mott Singer made the second. Okay.
Okay.
Any question or discussion for Darrell? All right. All in favor?
Well,
Let's
let's-
do the roll call.
Chair Woodbury.
Aye, yes.
Board Member, Vice Chair Calvert Hayes.
Yes.
Board Member Bramer.
Yes.
Board Member Burke.
Yes.
Ms. Crawley. Board Member Crawley. Board Member Jones.
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan.
Yes.
Ms. Mott Singer.
Yes.
And Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Okay,
Any
all-
opposed?
No opposed.
Okay. And I'll just remind the public that, our work sessions are very intentional in the way that now we can come in and, have action items and have already been informed and prepped and have done our homework on these items. So you probably won't see a lot of discussion and question right now because we've worked out a lot of the details in our work sessions. But the next action item is to consider approval of creation of the Facilities Advisory Council. Is there a motion?
Leah Crowley moves the motion.
Okay,
Kaplan, second.
okay.
Any questions or discussion for Dion?
Okay, Chair Woodbury.
Oh, all in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye for Woodbury.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes.
Yes.
Board Member Bramer.
Yes.
Board Member Burke.
Yes.
Board Member Crawley.
Yes.
Board Member Jones.
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan.
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger.
Yes.
And Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right. The next item is to consider approval of the Restart Schools calendar flexibility. Is there a motion?
Board Member Parker,
Move to
move
approve.
approval.
Mott Singer.
Second. Calvert Hayes.
Okay,
Are there questions or discussion? All in favor?
Ms. Woodbury.
Yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes.
Yes.
Board Member Bramer.
Yes.
Board Member Burke.
Yes.
Board Member Crawley.
Yes.
Board Member Jones.
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan.
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger.
Yes.
And Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Any opposed? The next item is to consider approval of the Multicultural Advisory Council bylaws. Is there a motion?
Board Member
Motion to
Parker
approve
moves
council.
approval.
And Board Member Parker moved the motion. Second.
Bramer.
Second,
Ms. Bramer, second.
Motzinger.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
questions or discussion? All right. All in favor?
All right, Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes,
Yes.
Board Member Bramer,
Yes.
Board Member Burke,
Yes.
Board Member Crawley,
Yes.
Board Member Jones,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger,
Yes.
and Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Any opposed? The next action item is to consider approval of budget amendment number 1 and transfer number 1.
I make a motion to approve. This is Board Member Jones.
Okay?
Board Member Parker,
second,
second.
Motzinger.
Okay.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
All right, Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes,
Yes.
Board Member Bramer,
Yes.
Board Member Burke,
No.
Board Member Crawley,
Yes.
Board Member Jones,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger,
Yes.
Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Okay? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 yeses and 1 no.
Okay, so that was the one opposed, okay.
Mhm.
The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda items, which include consider approval of the minutes from February the 25th, 2020 board meeting. Yes. Oh, we sure
Yes.
did, sorry, thank you. The added action item is to consider approval of the virtual meetings for our school board up to, is it May the? is- Okay, for the duration of the school closure. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Oh,
Okay.
Motzinger. Kaplan second.
Okay?
Any further question or discussions? All in favor?
Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes,
Yes.
Board Member Bramer,
Yes.
Board Member Burke,
Yes.
Board Member Crawley,
Yes.
Board Member Jones,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger, and
Yes.
Board Member Parker.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is now the consent agenda items, which includes the consider approval of the minutes from the February 25th, 2020 board meeting, to consider approval of minutes from the March 10th, 2020 work session, and to consider approval of minutes from the March 16th, 2020 special call board meeting, and then lastly, to consider approval of the general personnel report. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved. Calvert Hayes.
Second, Jones.
Any question or discussion? All in favor?
Chair Woodbury,
Yes.
Vice Chair Calvert Hayes,
Yes.
Board Member Bramer,
Yes.
Board Member Burke,
Yes.
Board Member Leah Crowley,
Yes.
Board Member Jones,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Board Member Motzinger,
Yes.
and Board Member Parker.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Mm. The next item on the agenda is the meeting open to the public. Before we begin the section of our meeting in which anyone can comment on anything, we say good night to our cable tube viewers and thank you for watching. And this will conclude our broadcast.
You're watching
At this
Cable
time,
Tube.
we will open the meeting to those who have signed up to comment during our
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.